Wani, and we're out in Scottsdale, Arizona at the Livewire, and I'm here with Evan from Skeletonwitch. How are you?
I'm doing well.
So you guys are on the Decibel magazine tour right now with ABBATH, On Fire and Tribulation. How's the tour been going so far?
It's awesome. It's kind of nice to be asked to do it. You know, they have one of these every year or whatever, and the lineups are always really, really, really good. So I always kind of was like, I wish we could do it, and then, you know, we got asked to do it this year. And also I like all the bands, so that's kind of a bonus as well. Tribulation especially, I'm a big fan.
So on this tour package, all the bands that are on it are actually very different from each other. Would you say that you're reaching a new audience with the shows?
I don't know, I hope so, but I think that when you get a tour package that's like all black metal bands or all death metal bands or all kind of doom metal bands, you draw from the same pot, so you get the same amount of people there. So yeah, I'm hoping, I couldn't say for certain, but I'm hoping that the fact that there is different bands is expanding our audience a little bit. I'm sure there's guys that come for, you know, ABBATH that are just black metal guys that haven't heard of us before, or, you know, On Fire fans that are just kind of stoner metal or doom metal fans that haven't heard of us before as well. So hopefully it is expanding audiences.
So you guys probably see a lot of people buying merch. That might mean, you know, there's a lot of people out there.
Yeah, yeah. Hopefully kids like t-shirts. That's what every time we go and pick up a ton of t-shirts, I say, hopefully kids want t-shirts this year.
Right. Alrighty. So you just released your video for the track Well of Despair, featuring your new vocalist Adam Clemans. How would you say the response has been?
I think it's been pretty good. You know, that's a big thing, because switching a vocalist is obviously like a really big thing for a metal band to do. But the response has been really great, and also too, you know, we run into this thing where it's like, you know, you get rid of a vocalist, and you know, you can get a thrash guy and maybe go a little bit more, you know, like lowbrow or something, or you can get someone like Adam, who's a little bit more of a thinker and a reader, and someone that writes kind of deep lyrics and go a little bit more maybe like highbrow, and that's kind of the road that we chose.
How did you get in contact with him? Was he already a friend, or did you see him play somewhere?
Yeah, well, we actually toured with his band called Wolfhammer before.
Oh.
So we did a tour. What year was that tour?
2011.
Yeah, 2011 we did a tour with Black Diamond, and Wolfhammer was on it, and that's how we kind of met him and said, you know, oh man, this guy's killer or whatever. And actually Dustin, our drummer, just sent him an email just out of nowhere and said, you know, we were thinking about a few different people, and like I said, it's a big thing to go ahead and switch your vocalist, and he just said, hey, you know, you want to try out? And Adam flew to Columbus, Ohio, where we practice, and basically just immediately knew every song and just killed it immediately. And I think there wasn't much of a question that he was gonna be the guy or whatever. And then, you know, then we wrote an EP, and he came up with amazing lyrics for it. He kind of has amazing like cadence to his voice and stuff like that. So it, you know, everything that he's done has really supported the fact that he, you know, he's the next generation of this band, essentially, the next Skeletonwitch 2.0 or whatever.
So it feels like you've started a new chapter.
Oh yeah, for sure. There's no way around that. You know what I mean? But I'm not recommending that metal bands go out there and change their vocalist or whatever. But at the same time, things do get stagnant. You know what I mean? Like bands put out the same record time and time again, lose fans and stuff like that. And you know, then people go, oh, I wish this record was a little different, and they tried something different. Well, we tried the most different thing you could try, and essentially got a new vocalist or whatever. So he's doing an awesome job, and I'm glad to have him on board with our band.
So it sounds like you guys are really happy. And
oh yeah, definitely. And that's another thing too, is that you asked about the response. Certainly there's those kids, you know, there's kids that want you to put out the same record every time. There's kids that want you to progress, but there, you know, those kids that want you to put out the same record, you know, there is negative feedback. It's not like we got 100% positive feedback, but you're asking, like, if we're happy. I'm almost 31 years old. I dropped out of school getting a sociology degree. I live in an attic. I make less than $30,000 a year. My car's about to turn to dust, but I don't do any of this for money. So when kids aren't happy with it, frankly, I don't fucking care. You know what I mean? I don't do this for anybody else besides myself. And if kids like it and reciprocate that on us, that's amazing, and I'm glad people enjoy my art. But I make art for me, so I'm extremely happy personally with what we've done. Yeah.
So it sounds like you're a very passionate person.
Oh yeah, certainly. I mean, you can't do this and not be, and have a plan B and say, oh, I'll try it and maybe I'll go back to school, or I got this job lined up. You have to put all your chips, you know, on one side of the table and say, you know, this has to work, or else it's not, you know, going to work. There's so many kids we play with in local bands and other bands and stuff like that they're so good, and you can tell they practice, but you know, they have kids, they get married, they get fat, they have good jobs. They'd rather do these things, you know, than play music. And I get it, you know, it's each their own. I'm not casting any stones or blame or anything on these other people, but you do have to put all your eggs in one basket and make this your priority over family, you know what I mean, over anything, unfortunately. And that doesn't mean when you're home, you know, that can't be your priority, but, you know, when you get the call, we have to go do this tour, that has to be the, you know, penultimate thing that you do.
Well, it's good that you're in a group that, you know, everyone's really dedicated and you're obviously accomplishing a lot of things. So. Yeah, it's awesome. It's not, you know, there's a lot of bands nowadays that kind of put out a record and then just get huge or whatever, and stuff like that, and we've really kind of struggled, but I think it builds character, you know what I mean? I joined this band right after they put out their first record, Beyond the Permafrost. I did most of the touring on that record. I'm not on that record, but at that point, I joined that band and we did a tour at Danzig, so we did this huge tour. And on the way home from that tour, we were still playing in houses. So as little as 8 years ago, we were playing in basements and stuff, and I think that creates a good work ethic. You know, get out there and play basements if you want to be in a serious band. Okay, so now that you do have a new vocalist, do you have a set date for the release of your new EP?
Well, we do not have a set date yet. We will obviously have like a press release and stuff like that. We're super excited to get it out, so we're not gonna dilly-dally about it or whatever, but summer there'll be a release, and then following that there'll be a lot more touring. So we plan on doing some headlining after that.
America, Europe, maybe?
Definitely North America.
Okay.
And probably Europe, you know what I mean? We haven't lined that up yet, and we were just in Europe, I guess, like 8 months ago or whatever. Yeah. So I don't know when we're gonna go back, but we'd love going over there.
Yeah, it's fun over there. It's different.
It is quite different.
Yeah.
The cheese stinks, and the beer is better.
Right. Yeah. Everyone's friendly.
Yeah, well, I think
depends on the country.
Yeah, I think people are more friendly, but sometimes people are more honest. Like Germans will come up, you know, everybody in here, I'll go in, and even, you know, maybe I missed a note because I was headbanging. People will say, oh, that was really good. German people will say, when you played that song on the third part, you hit a wrong note and I heard you. So they're brutally honest, but so am I. So I appreciate that that German candor. That's what I call it.
So you guys have been signed since about 2004. You've visited all places all over the world. Are there still some countries you have yet to play?
Yeah, we actually have never done Asia, so that's a big thing that we've always wanted to do, and we actually did have an Asian tour lined up maybe 2 years ago, and it fell through. Somebody got really sick, so we couldn't do it in one of the other bands. So I'd love to go to Japan and Malaysia and Indonesia. Those are places we were supposed to go. So we've never been to that side of the world. Just it's usually North America and Europe, North America and Europe, North America and Europe. So yeah, I'd love to go over there.
Would you say that people who don't get tours out there a lot are more humble and very like loving when you guys go over to places like that?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, it's even that way in the States, though. You know what I mean? Like everybody plays in, I don't know. Okay, everybody plays in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. So when you go to Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, they don't get big shows out there. So when we come out there, like we played in El Paso yesterday at a skate park. It was a day off from this tour. So somebody said, "You want to come play in the skate park?" And there wasn't 500 kids there. There's probably more like 100. But yeah, they were passionate, and you do certainly get that in Europe and stuff like that. When you go play Eastern Europe, we just played in Eastern Europe, but. Yeah, people that are in small cities, I think, do probably appreciate it a little bit more. And I get that, though. I'm from Cleveland, so we don't get a ton of huge tours. So whenever I see a big tour coming through there, it's always pretty exciting.
So out of all the places that you have played, where would you say you have the biggest support, turnout, and just fans at the show?
Ooh, that's a hard one. I don't know. I mean, there's like key places in the States that we've always done well, like not necessarily huge markets like New York and like Chicago, but like Austin, Texas is just always really, really awesome. Like that's one that we always love. San Francisco is just really, great every time we're there. Like in Europe, like Germany is always really great. Everybody knows that Germans love heavy metal, so shows in Germany are always really fun. And the festivals in Europe are amazing. There's nothing like that over here, so that's kind of like, you go over there for the first time and do those, and it's daunting. There's 80,000 people, you know what I mean? So
they're a lot of fun. Some of them are too big, though.
They're a little big. We did Wacken one year, and Judas Priest played in I'm just kind of like a big like 60s, 70s nerd or whatever, and I love like early Judas Priest, and I got to see them playing Wacken. But yes, there's too many people. Like I was so far back, I just watched them on the, you know, the Megatron screen as opposed to being up front or whatever. But I got to see them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's awesome to see that many people come out. There's nothing like that in the States.
No.
And playing one of those stages too, you know, even though we don't play those giant stages at those festivals, when you look out and there's 3,000 people, it's pretty incredible that many people.
Yeah. They usually have like 3 stages, 4, depending on the festival, going on at the same time.
Right, yeah.
And it's just, you got to run and pick which one you want to go to.
Yeah, it's definitely true. One time we played maybe Summer Breeze in Germany, and Bolt Thrower was playing. So I go to watch Bolt Thrower from the side of the stage because I had a wristband because we played earlier in the day. So I go up there, and some German guy, you know, he grabs me by the shoulder. He says, "What are you doing here?" You know, I said, I'm going to watch Bolt Thrower. I just played. I'm allowed to be up here. And he said, "No, only friends and family for Bolt Thrower," and he kicked me out. So you do got to pick what you want.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I went to another stage and watched a smaller band. It was fun, but you got to be careful. Those Germans.
I think I was at the Summer Breeze you were at, and it was very crazy.
Yeah, it's awesome. Yeah, it's crazy. It's something. It's nothing like it.
No. But everything, you know, that's there, they should bring over here. Definitely.
Yes. Yeah, I agree. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if they could do it in the States. I think people have been trying.
They're trying that Knotfest thing.
He's saying no. So I don't know either. Europe is just so many people condensed into such a little area, but especially in this part of the States, you get out here, it's just so spread out. Like I don't know if people would travel. People in Europe also have more vacation time, so I think you have guys that work all winter, and then when summer comes, they take 3, 4, 6 weeks off, save up $5,000, and go to all these festivals. In the States, everybody's poor, nobody has time off.
Yeah.
We work too hard, we're too fat, we're too lazy. It's just sad.
Yeah, it's pretty pathetic.
It's quite pathetic. Yeah.
So, since you've been in the scene for so many years, we're starting to see a lot of bands release records on their own, kind of a DIY thing, rather than using labels. How do you feel about that?
I mean, I think that's cool. I come from like a punk background. Like when I was like 17 years old, I didn't listen to like Pantera and Slayer and stuff. I listened to like punk bands, like went to those DIY shows. So I'm fully in support of it. Like, I think it's pretty cool that, you know, I feel like the label bubble has kind of burst a little bit, you know what I mean? Like just because you get signed to a label doesn't mean you're gonna have money, or they're gonna give you an appropriate amount of money to put out a record. So I'm fully in support of it. A lot of people use that crowdfunding thing.
Yeah.
And I think if people use that, you know, you see bands all the time that don't have a label that people really like, you know, say like, we don't have a label, we want to raise X amount of money, $30,000 to do this, and then they do it. They raise the money, they record the album, send out the records. I think it's incredible.
Yeah.
It cuts out the middleman. It's awesome. But then there's also the evil that I see people crowdfund, like, we need a new van, or we need cymbals, or we need new guitars. That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We all have a super blue collar work ethic. It's like, you know, you want a new van, go work overtime at your job at home, and you know, and buy a van like we all do. You know what I mean? It's hard, but you know, if you're giving somebody something back, I think for that DIY ethic, like an album, I think it's certainly worth it. If you're asking for something with nothing in return, there's also bands that say like, oh, you give $100, we'll put you in our liner notes in the record, or you can come in early or be part of the fan club. It's like there's nothing tangible you're getting. It's ridiculous. So I don't like that.
Okay. I don't like that idea.
Yeah.
Okay, so what's next for Skeletonwitch?
I think we kind of talked about it. We're gonna release that EP, and we're gonna do some touring in the fall. So that's all we have lined up right now. I'm sure, you know, EPs don't last as long as records and stuff, and we already have some songs in the pipe, so we'll certainly be doing a full-length record sooner than later. Like in the next, I'd say in the next probably 12 months, we'd start thinking about recording one.
Okay. Well, thank you for joining us today. Thank you for taking the time out.
Yeah, my pleasure.
Good luck with the rest of the tour.
Yeah, thank you so much.